Hey everyone, welcome to my transgender tale. This is my story, telling you how I came from this to this. I'm going to be talking about a lot of sensitive subjects on here. It's a bit more personal and serious of a channel than my other channel, Tara's Tales. If you want to go check it out, click the link below. Shameless plug right there. Anyway, I wanted to talk about being disowned today. Now, a lot of people don't give it much thought, being disowned. And it's pretty serious. It messed with me a lot. I was disowned for being transgender, and it took a lot to come back from that. I want to tell you my story, but I wanted to jump to this point first. I've known I was transgender since I was 4. I may not have understood everything that entailed, but I knew from that young of an age that this body wasn't for me. Around the same time, my oldest brother came out as gay, and after that we never saw him. Depending on which side of the story you want to hear, depends on what happens. But growing up, I was kind of worried that would happen to me, and I knew deep down that it would. And honestly, that's a huge reason why it took so long for me to transition. I didn't want to lose my family. But finally, it came to a head where I had to decide, do I want to be happy or end up dead? This wasn't a life I could continue. I knew it was a matter of time before I got disowned for it, and so I distanced myself. And looking back, it may not have been the best idea because it blindsided them. I don't know. I started growing out my hair, and I started seeing a therapist. And then in January 2017, I was approved of hormones. I remember telling all of my friends while growing up that I've decided to become a girl. It was mostly as a joke, but I knew I was serious, and most of my friends did too. It was like the worst kept secret. And so I started telling my family. I told my sisters, who I thought I had a good relationship with first. And they were worried about me. They were happy for me, but they were worried of what I was actually doing. And they wondered when I was going to tell our parents because they would not be happy about it. And I told them I was going to tell them February 28th. And the 28th is kind of a big deal in my family. Nothing too huge. It just happens to be every time we've moved from one house to another, it was always on the 28th of a month. So I thought it was kind of symbolic to tell them then. Anyway, February 28th comes, and I get a text from my sister asking if I've told them yet. I said no. Once I get off work, I plan on to. About a few hours later, I get a text message from my dad. I open it up, and it reads that he already knows. It said that your sister told us what you were planning, and we're shocked. We can't believe you would push this on us. We're so surprised. We don't want to see you right now. Love, Dad. Love, Dad. That threw me for a loop. I understand when some families have a child that comes out as gay, lesbian, or transgender, or any other part of the LGBT spectrum, that it takes a moment to process. But they said something similar to my oldest brother, and they still didn't want to see him. So I knew if I'm changing my body to reflect how I feel, there's no way I would ever see them again. To me, this was their goodbye. I called up the people I care about, and I was in disbelief. It hadn't hit me yet. About 20 minutes into a conversation, I realized I'm never seeing any of them ever again. My nieces, my nephews, my older brother I was starting to reconnect with, my sisters, odds were I'm choosing this over all of them. Everybody tried cheering me up. Good riddance to bad rubbish, they would say. And although I agreed, it hurt. They're my family, and I was just kicked to the curb. I spent hours crying about it. And it's funny because those who really care about you, they reach out with all of their love, telling you how much they mean to you. And it means nothing. Their love won't ever replace the love of your parents. The memories you accumulated growing up are just archived memories now. You're not creating new ones. There's not going to be another Thanksgiving dinner, another Christmas get-together. There's not going to be another birthday party for you. They're strangers. I went through phases of being angry and then being upset and sad, depressed. My therapist wanted to put me on antidepressants, and I refused. I told him I could handle it. I told him this was just a bump in the road, and I will overcome it. This isn't going to end me. He didn't agree with that, and he refused to prescribe me any more hormones. So at that moment, it felt like I lost them for no reason. It hurt a lot. It took a day to process that, and then I decided I'm not going back. I would love to have my family with me, but I need to be happy with myself. It was rough. You go through phases wondering if it's your fault, and since I pushed them away and most of them had no idea what I had planned because of that, I felt like it was completely my fault. I didn't want to hear from them. And it was easiest for me just to think of them dead. They didn't want me around. Their own child. There were several nights staying up in bed, feeling so incredibly alone. I knew I had amazing friends that would support me 100%, and they slowly became my family. But that unconditional love that you're supposed to feel from your own family, I realized came with conditions. And that hurt. I felt like I just missed out on something. And it was all my fault. Some of my friends tried to include me in their family activities. Most of them I refused, though, as I felt like I was just a burden, a charity case. And I know now that wasn't the case, but back then, when it was fresh, that's all you can think about. Your own family doesn't want you. Why would anybody else want you? About 8 months after they told me they didn't want to see me again, I got a call from my dad, which I abruptly ignored. I was finally starting to feel better, that I could do this on my own without them, that I didn't need them, and he's calling me. What is this? So I ignore the call and text him asking him what he wants, and he says he needs to talk to me. I refuse. And I soon get text messages from my sisters saying I need to talk to him. And I refuse. They tell me it's important. And I ask them if it was so important, they could tell me, like they told my parents about my decision to transition. That set off some arguments, and finally I agreed to listen to my dad. So the next day he calls me, and he just tells me that my mom is sick. They don't know everything yet. They're waiting on tests. And I yell at him. I tell him that my mom's too stubborn to die. She's not going anywhere. Her mom, my grandma, it took a lot to get her down. And I'm pretty sure my mom would be just the same way. We talked for a second. I recently lost one of my dogs. That was painful. He tried comforting me, but it fell on deaf ears. And that was it. They said they would keep me posted, but I really didn't care. They disowned me. They were dead. And now they're reaching back for me from beyond the grave. That's how it felt like to me. A few weeks later, I get told that she's fine. I text back saying I knew it all along, but I'm glad to hear it. And we moved on. Nothing else was said. Being disowned, you know you're alone, but there's still a part of you that desperately wants to reconnect. And it gnaws at you. continuously gnawing at you. And I finally had enough. On March 27th, 2018, I reached out to my dad. I texted him telling him I love him. And he replied he loved me. The conversation was short. It finally ended with me asking if I'm ever going to be part of the family. He said when we all die and we're together as a family in the afterlife, I will be. But in this one, not if I transition. So I may have been told back in February of 2017 that they didn't want to see me. But in March 2018 was the final nail in the coffin. That I'm no longer part of the family. I'm not wanted. Getting that information hurt. It was basically confirming what I knew all along. I'm not wanted there. For their own personal reasons, not only can they not accept me, but they don't want me. And it hurts. But by that time, I started to learn. I started to learn how to love myself. And I started to learn about the love I can feel towards others. I may never have that mother-daughter relationship or a father-daughter relationship. I've tried, and it's just so foreign to me. I always worry that I'm just going to be kicked to the curb again. And it's something I will always have to deal with. I am so incredibly thankful for my friends that supported me and for the few family members that do actually care about me and support me. I have a relationship with my sisters now. It's not the best, but we're working on it. My little brother still doesn't want anything to do with me. And same with my older brother, as far as I can tell. My oldest one is still there for me, though. But a lot of my cousins are there for me. They've been amazing. And they're the ones who helped pull me from the darkness and show me that just because my own parents don't want me around doesn't mean the entire family does. So I want people to know that if you are disowned, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Hold those who care about you close in your life. They are there for you. They aren't lying to you. It's not a charity case or a pity party. They're there for you because they love you. Easier said than done, I know. Dr. Seuss once said, "Those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter." The trick is, your heart has to accept that. And so I thank everyone in my life. I am so happy and grateful for those who have stuck around and the friends that I have made since then who've become family. You are all amazing. And for those going through similar trials, there is hope. You're not alone. Anyway, I guess that's what I have for today's video. I just really wanted to talk about that. If you are feeling alone, reach out to me. I would be more than happy to be part of your family. I would be more than happy to talk to you and help you. So, until next time, stay safe and hold your loved ones close.